Decisions are difficult. Decisions on what to do with your life are difficult. Decisions on what to do with your career are difficult. Should I move overseas? Should I stay friends with that person? These are all tough decisions. And the kind of classic way to make a decision is to like feel it out, you know, like think about it for a little bit, sit on it. Maybe write a pros and cons list, depending on what kind of person you are. But in this video, I want to talk about some better ways to make decisions. These are some like tools and prompts that will help you next time you're making a big decision or a little decision that you're struggling with. I have actually created a little decision-making toolkit to help you out if you are in a moment of indecision or you think you could be in the near future. If you want to download the decision-making toolkit, you can check out the link in the description below. This video is brought to you by Skillshare, an online learning community with over 25,000 classes in things like design, photography, business, productivity. I'll talk more about Skillshare later, but if you want to sign up for a free 2-month trial, check out the link in the description below. For now, let's dive into how to make better decisions. So the first thing that I want to talk about is a rule. And there is like a whole book on this topic, but we're going to keep it short. This rule is the 10-10-10 rule. So when you're facing a decision, consider how that decision will impact you in 10 minutes, how it will impact you in 10 months, and how it will impact you in 10 years. So for example, if you are considering staying in your current job or taking on that new opportunity that's come up, you'd consider the 10-10-10 rule for both of those opportunities. So staying at your current job in 10 minutes, you're probably gonna feel relieved a little bit, if a little sad. Your lizard brain will be cheering because you have stayed in your comfort zone. In 10 months, maybe you're gonna be really bored because you haven't changed things up and you're not growing. And in 10 years, you might be making less money than you currently make because you didn't expand your skill set beyond what it is now. Of course, those details are gonna be completely different depending on your situation. And sometimes you might use this rule and realize like, actually, this decision has very little impact, so there's no need for me to be overthinking it to the point that I'm overthinking it. This rule reminds me a lot of the premise that I talked about in my video on how to stop feeling stuck and start achieving your dreams, which was all about prioritizing significance. So choosing the thing that is actually the most significant in the long run that's gonna impact you in 5 years' time and working on that thing first thing of a day. If you're interested in that concept, I'll have a link to that video down below and up here. The next helpful prompt is the outsider's perspective test. Because you know when a friend is like telling you about the problem that they're having with their relationship, with their home, maybe with their business, and in your head you're just literally thinking if you just did blank, this problem would be solved. Because in that scenario, you have the privilege of outsider's perspective. You're not the one that's in the tough situation making the big decisions, so a lot of those like details aren't overwhelming you, so it's quite clear to you what should be done. There are 2 really great prompts that I have found to help you to put yourself in an outsider's shoes and analyze your situation from a more practical perspective. So the first one is pretend that you're a protagonist in a novel that you're reading. Fill in the blank. Why don't they just blank already? Or imagine that you've just been transported into your body. You have amnesia, so all of your past decisions are unknown to you, and your only option is to look at your current situation and take advantage of the skills that you've inherited and the knowledge that you have. What do you do next? If you watch my most recent Getting Things Done day, you would have actually already seen these prompts. I'll put the article that I found these prompts in down below if you want to check that out as well. I found these prompts super helpful because sometimes you are just so invested, you just forget to take a high level view of things. The next tool is fear setting. Fear setting is a practice that Tim Ferriss created based on Stoic philosophy. Essentially, it is like asking, what is the worst that could happen, but like on steroids? I think this process is like almost a bit like cognitive behavior therapy. It just helps you to sort of remove yourself from a situation, almost putting yourself in that outsider's perspective. It's taking something that you've probably blown really out of proportion and looking at it from a really like analytical perspective. Let's run through the fear setting exercise, looking at the decision of buying an investment property. So you're tossing up buying this investment property. The first thing that you want to do is define your fears. What is it that you're really scared of? Are you scared of no one moving into your property, so you just end up losing a bunch of money? You can't keep up your repayments, your credit rating goes to crap, you get overwhelmed with the management of things. The next step of fear setting is creating a prevention plan. So how could you prevent those terrible things from happening? For example, writing out a budget plan, making sure you actually do have heaps of money left after paying back your repayments. saving up 4 months worth of rent for an emergency, purchasing a place that matches your current rent because you know that you can pay that. And then there is the repair plan. So write down what you would do if those horrible things did come to fruition. Sell the property, move into the property yourself, sell your car, use that to pay repayments, and take public transport. Ask your wealthy uncle for a loan. Then you want to look at the consequence of inaction, which is kind of similar to the 10-10-10 rule. So it's looking at, like, if you don't take this action, what do you miss out on in 6 months, 5 years, 10 years? And the last step of the process is asking yourself, what are you waiting for? Like, give a definite answer. Why are you waiting to make this decision? And if you can't give a real answer that actually makes sense, then there's really no point in putting it off. The next approach is experiment first, decision next. I think that experimenting is one of the most undervalued tools in decision making. Trying things out, baby steps, testing things, and then deciding. For example, if you are tossing going to university to study animation, which I assume is a course, versus going to uni to study web development, you could use a platform like Skillshare, take a course in both of those things, and then make a decision. You, like me, might watch an animation course on making a GIF and realize, like, animating is a lot of work. There's a lot of detail involved. It's for a very dedicated person that likes intricate stuff. Then you might do another course on web development, graphic design, whatever, and fall in love. Skillshare have an affordable premium membership for under $10 a month for an annual subscription. Premium membership gives you unlimited access, so you can join communities and classes and all of the things that are available on Skillshare. It's a platform for you if you want to fuel your curiosity, your creativity, or even your future career. Skillshare is a place to help you to learn and to thrive. So I recently have been using the tool Asana to manage my business to-dos. So a course that I found really helpful is one that is actually run by Asana, and it's all about project management because that's what Asana is kind of all about. It runs you through the basics of project management and also shows you some cool ways to use Asana. I've heard so many people rave about Asana, so finding a course by the people from Asana was pretty cool. If you want to join over 7 million creators that are using Skillshare, then use my link in the description below to get your first 2 months for free. So for a few more examples of experimenting before you decide, instead of just moving to Melbourne, go there for 2 weeks and live your life as if it were a normal day. You might find out that actually you hate the cold. You knew that before you experimented, but now you really know. Or before you decide on email service providers, like, actually take advantage of those 2-week trials. Before you buy that expensive DSLR camera to launch your YouTube channel, try keeping up a YouTube channel for 6 months just using your phone. And if you can do that, then take the next step. Testing is one of the best ways to learn whether you enjoy something, I think, especially for your career. I feel like so often we're discouraged from testing, especially after high school. It's like, go to uni. You should know exactly what you want to do when you really, like, you don't even know what's up in the world a lot of the time, or I know I didn't. But I think experimenting, taking a year off, working, taught me so much about what I don't like and what I do like. Once again, most undervalued decision making tool. The next tool is present me thinking. This one is particularly helpful if you're decluttering something, and that could be decluttering something like physically from your life, or deciding whether you want to continue a friendship, whether you want to continue a project you've already started, get rid of a task in your life, an activity, a hobby, a commitment, decluttering anything of any sort. We tend to get very attached to the stuff that we've already invested time in or that we already own. So for example, if you are selling a mug at a garage sale, it was once your absolute favorite mug and it's a beautiful mug, it's so well made, you're gonna see it as a mug that's worth like $5, which is crazy for a mug at a garage sale if you've ever been to a garage sale. But if you'd never seen that mug before and someone walked up to you and was like, here's my secondhand mug, how much would you pay for it? You'd probably be like, yeah, maybe like $2.50 or less. And this is a legitimate thing that has been tested. I believe it was using mugs and chocolate in a study with college students. I'll link that study down below, and probably definitely other things because it's a very real thing. When you already own something, when you've already invested your time in it, it's worth a lot more to you than it would be to an outsider. Once again, going back to that outsider's perspective. And that's where you apply present me thinking. There are so many situations where this can be helpful. So for example, if you are decluttering your space, simplifying your life, would I currently right now, if I walked into a shop and saw that top, purchase it? For those of you who have completed my 30 days to simplify challenge, you probably are already familiar with that question. Or if you're choosing your next career move, you have an option on the table and you're like, should I stay, should I go? Consider, if I saw my current job, knowing what I know now about it, about the culture, about the people, would I apply for it? would I want this job? Or to figure out if your friends are fulfilling you or draining you. If I met this person, knowing how they interact with people, understanding their nature, would I choose to be friends with them if I met them today? If you want a few more prompts to really get you thinking and maybe give you a little bit more direction in life, I have a video filled with a bunch of activities that you're going to enjoy on how to figure out what you want. It's a really helpful video, like I would definitely recommend it, especially after this video. It has a worksheet alongside it as well, so I'll have that linked in the description below and on the screen. Don't forget to use the link below to get your first 2 months of Skillshare for free. I appreciate you so much and I will see you soon.